on live.
And good evening, everybody, and welcome once again to Going Nuclear, full-blown coverage of the land. Ethan Greenberg here, and joining us tonight is our guest, Mike Krochak, also known as Crow Dog the Roofer. And I apologize as I'm stumbling all over myself trying to do multiple tasks here. And also alongside me, of course, is my co-host, Mike Rasinski. So, Crow Dog, thanks for being here with us. Mike, how are you doing this evening? I see you got the boys, Carter and Alex, here. It was great to see you all in person this past week as we got to experience the Browns game together. I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing. And also joining us is my son, Jacob. So, Mike, with that, Jacob, welcome in. Mike, you got your kids there. I'll let you have at it, buddy.
Yeah, so I got my co-host here. One of which just had a birthday yesterday, and one of the things he wanted and got was a bunch of football cards. So I'll just start out with what's the favorite one you got? Any good ones?
Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice. What's your favorite Browns player?
Probably.
Oh, and Myles Garrett. I don't know if you heard that. So good. It's a good take. Good birthday. So Carter, I'm gonna ask you first. What was your favorite part of going to the Browns-Commanders game on Sunday? And you got to peek up a little bit so they can see you.
Chicken tenders.
The chicken tenders? Why was the chicken tenders your favorite part?
Because the Browns suck.
And yeah. All right, Alex, over to you. What was your favorite part of the game, of going to the game?
Eating Sour Patch Kids.
Eating Sour Patch Kids. Is that because the game was really hard to watch?
Yeah.
Okay. Second question, Carter. How was Deshaun Watson?
He should be benched.
Oh, benched for who?
What?
Benched for who?
I'm trying.
Jameis Winston?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Dickerson should get fired.
And Dickerson should get fired. That's that's pretty deep. Why should he get fired?
He sucks.
I love the candor. I just love the candor here.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Alex, what's your assessment of the Browns so far this year?
They suck.
Okay, you gotta stand up so they can see you here.
They suck.
What has been the problem?
Sean.
Yeah, Deshaun's the problem. So you guys did happen to get autographs during the game.
I go get it.
You guys actually got autographs of probably the two best quarterbacks on the team. Do you remember that? Who did you get autographs from?
Jameis Winston, that was it.
Oh, you got DTR as well. I don't know if you remember.
Oh, yeah.
DTR and what? Mike Ford Jr. and James
And he
Crochet.
committed a beautiful penalty. He was right on cue. He's like, man, I got to show off for these guys. I gave him autographs, so I need to commit a penalty early in the game. Oh, there it is.
There you go. Jacob's showing it right there. That's awesome. Yeah.
And Crochet.
Okay. Oh, and then Alex wanted to show his off too. So that's
fantastic. Bring it on.
That was actually probably the highlight for me, was watching these guys get their all three of the kids here get their autographs. That was actually very nice of the players that came up and autographed the helmets for them. That was a great experience.
It is absolutely. I'm sorry, guys, that we had such a bad experience. And I don't know about you, Mike, but that was my fear. When I'm like, oh gosh, I want to take Jacob to the game. I want to go to this event. And I'm like, but what if they don't do well?
Yeah. Yeah, Alex, you remember what you told me during the game? We were halfway through the third quarter and he goes, Dad, can we leave? So are the Browns yet again spoiling another generation of fandom because of their play? I don't know. Do you guys have any closing thoughts? And I'll let you go. Go Guards.
Yeah.
How about that? We at least have them to cheer for. We'll talk about them later, I'm sure.
We will talk about them a little bit. Guys, thank you so much for coming on the show. B, for going to the game. That was a pleasure. We really enjoyed it. Jacob, I want to thank you also for kind of being the lead dog there. And we will note, I think that everybody out there going nuCLEar fandom needs to know that Grant Delpit is a turd. He signed Jacob's helmet and then stopped and did not sign the boys' helmets. And so he needs to be publicly flogged for that, maybe.
There you go. Yeah.
I mean, he did get an injury during the game.
Yeah.
There it is.
That's right.
That's it. Now, hopefully he's okay. But no, guys, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure meeting you. And we're going to go to another game at some point, maybe a Cavs game.
Yeah. Yeah. They're playing in like 2 weeks up here in DC.
Exactly. And Mike from the UK, Mike Pellegrini, go Cavs. I agree. I concur. Well, good deal. Well, happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you.
All right.
Happy birthday.
All right. Thank you so much, Mike, for bringing in the boys. Yeah, that was painful. That was painful on Sunday. And it stinks to have our the next generation kind of seeing this bad football. As you might see, I'm wearing the 2016 NBA champs hat for the Cavs. And for all of us, that's the only championship of the major professional sports that any of us in our lifetime has seen. And quite frankly, I mean, the Browns are the furthest away. So with all of that in mind, I mean, I'm looking at the schedule here. And Crow Dog, my man, I'll let you chime in as well. Any point here, we'll kind of go around. But I watched, we watched week 1 against Dallas. That was not so good. But we said, okay, it's week 1. All right, we'll give you a little grace here. Then the second week, they go down to Jacksonville, and it starts out great. The scripted plays, they score a touchdown. We're looking good. And we eke that one out. And only by the fact that the guy dropped the Hail Mary did we not lose that game. We come home to Washington. We're like, all right, Danny 2 nickels here. And we got pantsed. We go to Las Vegas. We've got a chance to win there. And we took a dump there. They've got guys not playing all over the place. Devontae Adams, Crosby, all their good guys. And somehow we stunk it up. And we even had an opportunity to end and couldn't convert. Then we go into Washington last week, and all of a sudden the Commanders, who we looked at when we played the schedule game, we all would have said, hey, this should be a win. They're not that great. And suddenly Jaden Daniels is lighting it up, and that was an absolute cluster. And now we've got Philadelphia this week. So I was like, okay, time of death. Let's see. I'm calling out, was it the first week or was it last week? I don't know. Guys, is the season over? Crow Dog, you're our guest. Let me go to you first. Is the season, although not technically over, is it dead on arrival?
As bad as it looks, it's only been 5 games, and I will say no. First off, I know you guys aren't going to like this, especially after how the kids started off, but
you're watching.
I do not get paid by him. I do not run any of his burner accounts. I promise. I don't.
Okay. All right. Good. But you feel like there is some life there, and that things can still turn around. And what gives you that kind of belief in what we've seen so far?
Well, I have seen Stefanski put together an offense before that works.
Okay.
And I've seen Deshaun play in the past, and he's been the top passer in the league. He was Patrick Mahomes before Patrick Mahomes. He was Lamar Jackson before Lamar Jackson. Deshaun Watson was that it guy. I mean, he upset a billionaire owner off, and the next thing you know, a whirlwind, an avalanche of stuff happens. Okay, whatever you think about him, we'll keep the non-football stuff out of here. Well, he comes here, and since the start, there's been overwhelmingly majority of the fan base that wants to run him out of town before he even gets a chance. Okay, I know as a 25-year-old young man, I wasn't I wouldn't have been the best behaved if I had all that money. But it seems like it's hard for a person to really buy into this city and to buy into this fan base when it's been nothing but boom, boom, and boom. I understand the play hasn't been that well, but they say it's more than just the players and X's and O's. You got to have chemistry. You got to build a team. It can't just be a bunch of individuals. What it looks like. It looked like that week 1 versus Dallas. I think I saved up to go. I wanted to sit close. I sat close so I could see what was going on. Besides getting whooped on the field, it seemed like nobody was like there for each other. The only time I seen anything that resembled teamwork was a choreographed dance by the defense after a penalty.
Right.
And that was the most together I seen the team that whole game. And it's just been nothing but misery, it looks like, on the sideline. So it's hard. He's only played 16 games coming in a new offense after injury. Offensive line is shot.
Right.
Bill Callahan must have did more for Kevin Stefanski's run game than we thought, because their running game is absolutely zero. Deshaun hasn't played the best, but in 3 years, if Stefanski's the wonder boy of the offensive side, how can you not put together an offense to make it look better than it has?
That's a very good question, Mike. And I know that you have you listen to we've met via being fans of ESPN Cleveland, the Really Big Show. And so I'm going to pass this around, but before I kind of go around, get some further thoughts here. Actually, that question, do you recall Daryl Ryder asked Kevin about the offense and what he's doing, and could you just basically do what you did with Flacco? Because you're talking about the successes he's had. So let's go over to Kevin Stefanski here with his quote from this is from from Monday.
Yeah, Kevin, I feel I need to ask you this. The results being what they are with this new offense that's been incorporated this year, why can't you go back to what was successful last year? I'm talking like pre-Joe Flacco, the first part of the season with Deshaun. Why can't you just go back to that? It seems like you were more successful or had some success running that versus what you're trying to accomplish right now with this current offense.
Yeah, I understand the question, Daryl, and obviously we need to play better. We need to coach better. We're not getting the results we want as a team, certainly as an offense. So we look at everything in terms of what we're doing. I don't know that it's fair just to say, well, this is new or that's old. Like, we don't necessarily look at it through that lens, other than to say we want to have a productive offense. We want to score points. We want to help this football team. So we look at everything when it comes to putting our guys in position to succeed.
All right. So obviously, Stefanski has done it with multiple quarterbacks that were not nearly as talented as Deshaun Watson was or might have been or is. Why is it then can't they seem to succeed right now? I know there's other problems, but it seems like more than that. Mike, Jacob, we were at the game and we've watched. So, and Mike and Crow Dog, I know you were at the game too, right? At some of the home games. But I mean, what did you guys see on TV in person? Mike, I'll go to you first.
Well, to me, I'm going to disagree completely with Crow Dog. I'm sorry. I think the way you fixed the offense is you benched Deshaun Watson. The stat I have here is, as he's played 17 games now, he's 9-8 as a starter, and that's generous because we're counting the Colts game where he played half of a quarter.
He played one series, I think.
Yeah, so that's in the stats. The record against the teams he's played is a combined 106 and 117. So he's playing below average teams mostly, and he barely has a 500 record. And then you look at the eye test, just from your question, Ethan, what have we seen, especially this year? Overthrown balls, holding on to the ball too long, escaping the pocket. These are things that after 17 games, he should have figured out already, that maybe mistakes he wasn't making in Houston, but these are certainly mistakes he's making now. I don't know why he's making them now. Has he gotten old? Is the year and a half off, harder to come back from than we think? I don't know. It might be all of those things. But it's Deshaun is the problem. The blocking hasn't helped, but if I had to pick one thing to do, it'd be to bench him and let's see what Jameis can do for a couple games.
Right. And I mean, Jacob, you're much younger, so you got a different viewpoint on this. I pulled you into this terrible fandom. And wait a second. I just thought, I think it's time to bring this out. Okay. We're going to have to bring this out. I think it's appropriate here. As you see, one of our commenters here, it says Factory of Sadness for life. So, but let's actually go to to Factory of Sadness here and hear what our man, Kent State alum Mike Polk has to say about the Factory of Sadness. How this works.
Hey Browns, Mike Polk, season ticket holder. Killer game in Houston today. Well, thank God we built you. What a blessing for the community. You are wasting valuable space on our majestic shoreline, and what do we get out of it from you? 10 miserable games a year, including 2 preseason games that I have to pay for, and 1 shitty Kenny Chesney concert. Do you understand that it is actually statistically harder for a team to be this consistently bad than it is for them to occasionally accidentally be good? The probability is staggering. Did you happen to see that Packers-Chargers game today? It's like they're playing a different sport than you are. And here's what you have to understand. We don't even expect you to be good. We just want you to be watchable. Do you have any idea how low our expectations are? We don't expect you to win the Super Bowl. We just want you to look better than a Division III high school team. And listen, I know that there are way more important things in life than football, but you are supposed to be our pleasant distraction from those things. But all we do is pay you money to put us in a bad mood every week. You are a factory of sadness! I'll see you Sunday.
And so I just thought that was appropriate because it is tough. No, but Jacob, I pulled you into this terrible fandom, but I do love it for the experiences that we had, including Sunday, going to the game together, spending time together, and you've watched. You saw Baker Mayfield when he came in as a rookie. You saw him throughout his time here. You've seen a bunch of other quarterbacks. Kind of, what are you seeing out there from your youthful perspective?
I've seen good, bad, good, bad, good, bad, and we're currently on a bad. So I think it's time we went from the Baker era. Maybe we moved on from that too quickly. Maybe we didn't. Can't say for sure if Baker would have improved to how he looks in Tampa, or maybe it's the system where he's just better in Tampa and just needed to get away. But we transitioned into the Watson era, and there was a time where you could say he was good. It's just not now. I think his time for Cleveland at least is over. And I think it's time to move on to a third era and draft another quarterback.
Oh God, the cycle never ends. No, it's terrible. No, guys, and I mean, and we say this, and Crow Dog, this is no disrespect to Watson, because I think we'd all, honestly, we want our football team to win, right? And so whoever the quarterback is, the quarterback is. I know there are some people, like you said, Crow Dog, who genuinely, because of the off-field stuff, do not care for this person, have written off the Browns, whatever it is, and that is what it is. But the fact of the matter is, something ain't right. They were just talking to him today. Guys, did you see and I know it's one play and lots of things happen, but they showed this play. Brian Baldinger was showing it where Jerry Jeudy, and I think it was during that whole cluster fudge in the third quarter when the Browns after they got a turnover to start the half, they go down there, they're down at the 2-yard line, then they get they got a penalty for 12 men, then Watson steps up, misses a wide open Jeudy, steps up in the pocket, gets sacked, takes a loss of 1. Then we can't call it was a whole cluster. But they asked him about it. They asked Stefanski about it. And in today's press conference, and just to give you the statement here, in Kevin Stefanski's presser today, because again, these are always, and if I hear I've got to be better, we've got to be better one more time, does he need a thesaurus? Does this guy need a thesaurus? Does he not know any other synonyms for better? I don't know. I don't know here. But let's listen to what Kevin had to say about that play and his coach speak.
When you look at the clips of, I think down there at the end zone, when everything got messed up, but Jerry Judy was wide open on the left side. How does Deshaun not see that?
Yeah, listen, I know you can take out plays and look at that, and there's obviously plays that Deshaun wants back. There's calls that I want back. That happens in the course of a game. We just have to do our best from a coaching perspective, from a player's perspective, to execute what's out there. But I don't know that it's haven't called a perfect game. I don't think anybody's played a perfect game just yet.
Was there even a
So that was like, I mean, what was that? What is he talking about? I would want to call a better game. Blah, 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 blah. Why don't you just say it? That guy was wide open. And there are too many times when guys have been wide open. It's like, I used to be bad, kind of part of the joke of the name of this show is that it's full-blown coverage of the land because our defense was so bad. And now I might have to change it or something. But that's part of the problem that we're seeing here. The offensive line, as you said, Crow Dog, it's like Bill Callahan was some kind of magician. And now he's not here. Andy Dickerson comes in. We have injuries, but he can't keep these guys. The blocking scheme is horrible. And this alleged offense, what they're doing, who knows what they're doing? Again, what did they do all off season? So, I mean, let's run it around here. Let's throw it around and appreciate everyone who's commenting, trying to put up comments as they go. Crow Dog, do you think, and this has been the discussion all week, and we got our answer today from Stefanski, that he is going to continue to call the plays? Guys, I'm going to go to Crow Dog first, and then we'll go around. Do you think that Stefanski should continue calling the plays at this juncture? Is that the issue?
I think he should give it up. I think Joe Thomas was talking on Cleveland Browns Daily, saying that the Browns really need a spark. They need something different to really get them going. And Stefanski's stubborn. He's just so stubborn that it's hard for him to give it up. And it's like he's like this robot too. You never can read him. Okay, he might be a good poker player, but when you're a robot, I mean, you're acting like a robot all the time. And you say you act different when the guys are around, but you're acting all the other times, and nobody can get a good read on you. Won't be just honest and authentic. And it's just like I just think there's a lack of inspiration from him. So I don't know if he's losing the locker room yet. And I know it's a players' league, but I say switch it up and let Dorsey call the plays. If him and Deshaun have to collaborate to see what works and what not, they got to try something different.
Okay. All right. Jacob, what do you think?
I think he should keep the play call, but call his offense. Because clearly the offense that he's trying to incorporate with Dorsey, it's not working. It's just clearly not working. So I think he needs to call his offense, and we've been seeing that at periods in a game where they'll go very run heavy on a drive. But I think it needs to be a full switch to a more old Stefanski style. I think, in going into the future as well, I think this needs to be Stefanski's offense, not trying to be pigeonholed into some other type of offense. It needs to be his offense. He chooses which quarterback he wants, who he think will fit in his system, not what the owner wants, not what AB wants.
Fair enough. And Mike, I'll give you the floor here.
Yeah, I agree with Crow Dog when he says Stefanski can be stubborn. I think we all saw that with Mayfield when he hurt his shoulder his last year, and you're like, just sit him, man. Let the shoulder heal. And he kept putting him out there week after week. And that's probably why Mayfield had a bad year, which is probably why we felt like we had to get rid of him, get another quarterback, because he was too stubborn and stuck with his quarterback. I feel like the same thing's happening this year. He's too stubborn. He's going to stick with the quarterback. Who knows behind the scenes if the Haslam's are telling him to play him, but it would not surprise me if Stefanski is trying to, just stick with his guy. So you have that. Ken Dorsey, I read this week that he even though the Bills improved after he got fired last year, they actually had a better passing game, the stats show, with him as offensive coordinator. Their running game actually improved after he left, which is why I guess they started winning their games. But the actually offensive efficiency in the passing game went down. So the theme of that story I read was that he's actually a pretty good offensive mind, although we're not seeing it this year. But to answer your question, should Stefanski give up play calling? If you're not going to switch quarterbacks, then absolutely yes, because we talked about it last week. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing week after week and expecting different results. And we got to do something to switch it up.
Yeah, I hear you all on this, and I can see it. I will say this. We talked about this. Stefanski has succeeded with other quarterbacks. To your point, agree. Crow, yes, he is stubborn. I don't know what was going. He was trying to prove a point with Baker. He was ticked with him because he went to Jay Glazer and starts yammering about stuff. And I don't know. That's a mess. Like you guys, who knows what would have happened if Anthony Schwartz didn't get the ball intercepted because he stinks and he's a terrible pick by Andrew Berry. Oh yeah, we haven't gotten to that yet. His inability to identify any kind of offensive player. He's offensive. Okay. His draft picks are offensive. Yeah, you don't have first rounders, but you mean to tell me you can't identify one stinking good wide receiver? Unreal. Just unreal. So they're not going to switch to Ken Dorsey, and they're going to continue to trot out Deshaun Watson. I just don't know what these clowns did all off season. Dorsey was hired like in February or something, and they don't have a plan. Are you kidding me? Are you absolutely kidding me? Wait, what did they say? Yeah, they have concepts of a plan. They have concepts of a plan. And it is right. Jacob, you're right. It does. When they script those plays, that first drive, yes, they are Stu Pedazos. Yes. Thank you. Factory of Sadness. Agreed. It's crazy to me. Absolutely crazy to me. And Mike, you noticed at the game, and this has to be a concern. About the locker room. You talked about that play. I think it must have been in the fourth quarter because they were headed our direction when Watson got crunched and Cooper had run a deep route down the near sideline. I guess it would have been on the right. And he turned around, like the ball didn't even get thrown. But yeah, talk about that.
Yeah, so we were probably 20 yards away from Cooper and on that play because he's coming down the right side of the field. We were sitting in the corner of the end zone, so I was just watching him the whole time. He's running a deep route, looks back, sees Watson get sacked again for like the 7th time that week, and he just like head down, shoulder stoop, turns around, and just walks like the 50 yards back to the huddle, or maybe the sideline. They might have had a punt after that. I don't remember, but it was just like the body language. I've never seen a football player just act so dejected after a play before. And it was just fascinating to watch. I'm sure the cameras didn't capture it, but he was just like right in front of our faces doing that. And it just seemed like he was not happy to be there.
Right. And is that a trend? They talk about this on the Cleveland Sports Radio, and I listen, but I'm trying to work. I try and make it actually look like I'm actually doing something, while I'm sitting here working. And so I kind of catch pieces, but he started with the Raiders, got traded to the Cowboys, and then traded to the Browns. And I don't know what's the deal, like that. If he's so good, which we've seen, why does he keep getting traded?
I don't know. But here's another question too. if you demand for your contract to be restructured because you don't think you're worth your value and you refuse to play and you sit out because you want more money or whatever, a new contract. If the opposite happens, can ownership restructure your contract to get less money? I almost feel like Cooper should be getting less money right now after he held out this season. He's not the worst of it. He's actually it seems like a really good guy. But
No,
just to the point, it should work both ways.
Yeah, I get you there. I don't
How
know.
long did he hold out though, really? He didn't hold out that long. And then AB was talking about trading him. And that just stirred it all up because we really do forget these guys are humans sometimes. And then he put on that Instagram or whatever, what he don't mind, or what did he say when
Yeah,
about that?
I wouldn't mind or something. And the cryptic, I hate cryptic tweets. Okay, you got something to say it.
I think he's being honest. I think that's what he said. He said he wouldn't
Well,
mind if he got traded.
Yeah, but put the whole quote there. You want to say something, buddy? You say it. I mean, and we know we're big fans of King James, and he's the king of cryptic tweets. he is the king of cryptic tweets here. So all right, Crow Dog, you think there's a chance they could turn it around? I'm gonna turn it over, let the other guys turn it around. I'll tell you my opinion about where I see this thing going as we head to Philadelphia this week. But I want to get everybody else's opinion here. Jacob, is it time to blow, as they say on the airwaves? Is it time to blow for Milrow? Is it time to stink for, get mowers for you? I don't know. I can't come up with
Fewer for yours.
Yeah. Fewer wins for viewers, for viewers, or what's Nussmeyer? Can I get Hushmeyers for Nushmeyer? I can't come up with it. Jacob, what do you think? And then we'll go to Mike.
I think it's time to blow for Milrow. I think the season was over with the Vegas loss. Because before then, our two losses were to both NFC East opponents. So maybe it was just the NFC East, but then we lost to the Raiders without Devontae Adams, Max Crosby. And I think that's when it was like pretty much over. And then to not put up a fight against the Commanders, I think it really shows that we can't succeed if we keep doing if we try this season.
I think so. You're saying you don't want to win if you try too hard, we'll win too much. Is this what you're saying?
Exactly.
Okay, fair enough. Mike, what do you got?
Yeah, so I don't know why I'm saying this, but I'm still optimistic.
I love it.
Because
this is hilarious. This is not the same person I went to the game with on Sunday.
No, and here's the reason why. We're 2 games out in the AFC Central. Okay.
Wait a second. You're doing the same thing I did. Jacob, will you tell him how many times I called it the AFC Central on the way home or on the car?
No.
Yeah, it was so many times. Like,
sorry, I still got guards stuck in my head. I mean,
right.
Hopefully a better story.
But
AFC North. Sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes.
Sorry.
All right, so 2 games out. We got the Bengals, who we thought were going to be great. They're struggling just as bad as we are. Steelers, I don't think can keep up. They're not built to keep it up.
As Rizzo says, they're fugazi, right?
Exactly. And the Ravens, they're only 3-2. We thought they'd be much better than they are. And then on our schedule, we have the Bengals twice. We have the Chargers who've been struggling. The Eagles have been struggling. The Broncos, the Steelers twice. We haven't played any AFC North teams at all. And those are the games that are going to decide the AFC North. So obviously we have to play better. We have to do the Kevin Stefanski quotes.
You got to
play better.
Stefanski.
Yeah.
You're doing better.
But if they can, turn it around just a little bit, they have some easy wins on paper coming up. We thought the second half of the season was going to be tough. But you have the Dolphins on there. Who knows how they're gonna play. So I'm gonna be optimistic for one more week, and we'll see how this Eagles game goes. But I think there's a possibility that they're not dead and buried yet.
Okay, well
I'm gonna give you. Let me give you a preview of the Eagles game. Blowout.
Oh man! Jacob, we'll be watching together on Sunday. It'll be fantastic. You'll love it. It'll be great. We'll have all the screens up or something like that. But no, I will say, in my opinion, I think we are closer to having to blow this thing up than we are to making a serious run. Our roster is getting older, and we are lacking talent. The lack of draft picks that we had as a result of the trade, the lack of the finds that Barry has had in the draft, makes it difficult to see a path forward, especially given the fact that, unfortunately, for many, it could be numerous reasons, whatever it is, Watson has not lived up to what we all had hoped. The Haslams hoped he was going to be better. They said this guy in Houston was great. He sits out a year and then it just goes crazy. It went haywire here. And the injury last year derailed things. We don't know where things would have gone. But this year has really been messed up, and I don't know what it is. So my thought is, at this juncture, I'd rather see them. What's the difference between 5 wins and 2 wins? Like
Draft picks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the position. It's a position in the draft. So I'd rather be awful and get a higher draft pick and have the pick of whoever I want. Tailgate Nate, mentioned Cam Ward. I don't like him. We need a future left tackle because Jed Will stinks. I mean, even Bill Callahan could barely get anything out of him. And poor DeJuan Jones, he gets injured and comes back, and whether it's because of a lack of motivation, a lack of discipline, continuing to still be recovering, he looks slow, he looks heavy. Do you see how many times he gets yelled at on the sidelines? I mean, he needs it, but it's crazy.
Fire Dickerson.
Yeah, that he's one and done. Can we all have a consensus? I asked that on the train. I said, "Who wants to fire Dickerson?" I got a pretty good response on that one. No, I'm not a fan of Andy Dickerson. I think we really did lose out when Bill Callahan left, and it's like, please come back. Even though Tennessee is not looking good on the offensive line, I don't know what the deal is there. Mike from the UK had more fun watching the 1-31 team. Well, that was pretty cool, but it set our expectations that low.
You know what the sad thing is? If you don't mind me jumping in here real quick.
Right ahead, sir.
We had to suffer through 1-31 to open a Super Bowl window, which we're living in right now, and that window is defective. And now we're going to have to go 1-31 again to open another window 8 years from now, and we're going to have to suffer through because we screwed it up.
You ruined it! You ruined it! Are we ready for this? Because the only thing I see, I think that I don't know. I mean, so here's a good point. Michael G. Without a quality left tackle, doesn't matter who the quarterback is. I would tend to agree. You got to have better protection. You don't need like a superstar, but you can't have like a sieve over there. You can't have Swiss cheese offensive line. It's just not.
I think Swiss cheese would do better than Jed.
Well, that's what's happening now. Nobody, you could put Jameson or DTR in behind this line with no running game, 0 running backs. The Chiefs been hurt. They got no skill position at tight end, backup tight end. The wide receivers, I don't know if they're getting coached up or what, because on paper, the name Coop, I've seen him be good. Judy, we were hoping that the change of scenery would really help him and he would turn into a 1,000-yard, double-digit touchdown machine. But we it's like we got to let this play out. I know it's hard to say, but we got to see what we got in Deshaun. We got it,
and that's true. That is true, Crow Dog. I mean, we do. I think I guess
people got to get healthy. I mean, it is. There's no running game. That offensive.
Why is there no run? Okay, so here's the thing. Let the trench play. We are getting beat up down there. But let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Okay. Does sometimes, in theory, Deshaun, and this is not like it is what it is, but like, does he sometimes seem to be looking for like the big home run ball or the big play and maybe miss the smaller thing? And he'll, you know what I mean? It's like is that a fair assessment? And could he just be going back and being like, all right, I need to make the read. Here's the guy, get it out. It seemed like Flacco last year, and I'm not a Flacco, whatever. I don't want him back. I'm not like that, but I'm just saying he seemed to throw guys open. So what I'm asking is is it possible that for whatever reason, I just don't know. It's not it's everything. It's really everything. So I'm not going to put it all on Watson, but it's not
He
good.
needs to play better. I'm not going to say he's sitting there playing great. I'm just saying he hasn't gotten a fair shot with what's going on. How you got no right back? How can you not have a backup running back that even Kareem Hunt, that could put up 100 yards in any given day, and with Nick Chubb coming back with that bad of a knee surgery, and we're all praying that Nick comes back. If anybody can come back and be as good, he can't. But I'm just saying.
I hear you.
DTR behind that line.
He'll probably get killed. And I'm not a DTR guy, nor I'm not saying that anybody is necessarily going to be much better. I think we're all kind of saying, as Mike said early, the definition of insanity. And it's just looking real bad and real. The times it's getting dark on that. Now I will ask this question, guys. This week, or that lawsuit, that new civil suit that came out of kind of left field, it got settled for whatever that's worth. Do we think that in any way was in the head of Deshaun? Because theoretically, if this person had cooperated with the league, there was a potential they could come down on him and suspend him. And in theory, that might have opened a door for the Browns to void his contract. Do you think that was in any way, shape, or form weighing on him at all? Crow Dog, what do you think?
Oh, absolutely. How could you not as a human being? That's what we forget. We forget these guys are human too. And he's going through that. How could you not think about the potential of losing everything again and having everything taken away? Because that could be, if something like that happened, they could take that guaranteed money back. That's in the contract too. Anything new.
Right.
But yes, I do. And hopefully that will be the thing that frees him here and just lets him go out and have fun again. Just be that guy that has fun.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Right. I mean, Mike, what do you think that, if with that, kind of thing being resolved, that'll maybe be one less thing he's worried about, and maybe that'll help?
I don't think so. I don't think that's the problem at all.
Okay.
What all of that shows to me really is just immaturity in general, all of it, all together, all of that off-field stuff. How are you going to lead a team if that's how you act? And I know Crow Dog was talking about team chemistry and culture, and it doesn't seem like everybody's sticking together as one unit. Well, is that a reflection then on Deshaun since he's leading this team? There didn't seem to be those problems last year when he had other quarterbacks leading the huddle. So I don't think that's going to solve the issues that are affecting him. I just think he's an immature individual, maybe, if I had to sum it up.
People can't move on. I mean, look what happened with Ben Roethlisberger in Pittsburgh, moved on. Look what happened with Ray Lewis in Baltimore, moved on. It seems, and it's sad to say, the only way that a lot of Cleveland fans are going to embrace him is if he wins, That's sad if you really think about it. The only way I'm going to like him is if he wins. If he does, I hate him now, but if he wins, I'll like him.
Yeah.
So he's got no other redeeming factors. Which is the problem.
We don't know him personally. We only know. So let's.
That's the problem.
I mean,
from our perspective, the off the field is really bad, and the on the field is also bad. So you have nothing to rally behind him with.
And that's an interesting and fair. These are all fair.
I understand that. Yeah.
These are all fair and valid points. But now let's just talk one more thing here. And I know, Mike, you've got a good question in here that we kind of bantered and tossed around. But I did want to play one thing because they asked Deshaun today about the criticisms, right? They asked him about the Jerry Jeudy play, and then they followed that up with about outside criticism. So let me go to Deshaun's press conference here today and play those two questions and answers for you.
The play that everyone keeps citing or using or circulating on the internet this week is the one where you took the sack and Jerry was open in the end zone.
Correct.
what what did you see or not see on that play? And is that one that you would like to have back?
Of course, yeah. I mentioned that. I don't know if I mentioned after the game, but as far as with the team, yeah, out of all the plays, that's definitely one. It was just one of the times that I missed Jerry. I was, it was I want to give the route away, but it was a route that he had different options for, and I second guessed it and kind of predetermined where he was going to go, and I stepped up. Bobby Wagner did a good job, came and I fumbled it, and they recovered it. So yeah, it's definitely a play that I see. But I mean, as this position, no one's perfect. No one's going to always make the right read. So they can pick, one play here and there, but I think it's the body of work of the whole game. And I think that for me to be able to lead this offense to where we want to go and what we expect is just making sure that each and every play is within itself and not try to get the 21 points. I can't remember how much we were down by, but try to get all of it back at once, doing too much. And I take full responsibility of that. There's going to be plays that happen like that. Every quarterback has that. So
what's kind of funny, I want to stop there. I think he's thinking of the wrong play because he mentioned something about stepping up and getting sacked and losing the ball. That was a different play. Everything that they're talking about on the internet was on the play of the goal, near the goal line. That's just something I read into it, and I wanted to see that. But this is the thing about the social media. And then after we talk about that, Mike, I want to get to your point, and then we're going to talk. We're going to talk something fun. We're going to talk a little Guardians here, okay? So bear with me. Let's go to this one last question, and then Mike, we'll get to the point you had and your kind of hypothetical. So hold on to your hats there.
Hey, Deshaun, you talk so much about blocking out the noise and, 1-4 and the offensive struggles. It's getting pretty loud, national guys criticizing you. So how do you go about continuing to block that out?
I just continue to, first off, I don't hear it. I don't see it. So I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on any social media or things like that. So anytime that stuff comes up, only time I first.
So wait, what did he say? I'm not on any social media?
They can't seriously expect us to swallow that tripe.
Yeah, they can't seriously expect us to swallow that tripe. He's on Instagram, and someone is running his account, whether he's on it or not. Someone's running it. So let me finish that. But I took umbrage with that part of the statement.
First hear it is either you guys are bringing it up or somebody else outside, and I just don't know who it's coming from. So that's one thing. And then also it's a new opportunity. It's a new week. You know what I'm saying? Like those guys are seeing it from a different perspective. We know what we need to do internally, and that's the difference, is being able to be the best that I can be within the offense and within the team. And knowing that the guys and the coaches in this locker room knowing exactly what I'm doing with my job. And, sometimes it goes our way, sometimes it doesn't. So, I mean, for the outside people and the media, yeah, it might be loud. But for myself, I got to make sure I'm locked in and trying to do whatever I can to get all of us on the same page to play winning football.
And I certainly hope he is. But that I got to say, the idea that he's not on any social media. Yeah.
What stuck out to me, it seems like he was not taking responsibility for a lot of the mistakes.
He was taking responsibility in his prior quote.
Yeah, I mean that's the one thing I'll give Stefanski credit for, is he always says I've got to do better. I take the loss. I got to coach better. I didn't hear Deshaun at all once say, I screwed up that play. That was on me. He kind of danced around it a little bit. That to me, I would love to be a fly on the wall in that locker room. Like that doesn't sound like leadership in the locker room to me. So I don't know. I'm not there, but
right. And it's very interesting. That's all. But Mike, to your point, you had an interesting hypothetical question here, and I'd like you to get that, and we'll go around the room. You can start with Crow Dog, Jacob, and then I'll
sure.
It.
So we were all talking about benching Watson. A lot of us were here, but the contract aside, who would you not trade Watson for in the NFL? What other starting quarterback? So here's some names out there, and I want to know if you had to pick one of these quarterbacks, who would you pick? Bo Nix, Mac Jones, Will Levis, Bryce Young, or Deshaun Watson? Who would you pick to lead your team for the rest of the year? Okay, Jacob, go.
Bo Nix, easy.
Okay, Bo Nix. How come?
He's been okay, but he's been able to do what it takes to win the game.
He also
And
he has
right now, the rest of these quarterbacks who you've named haven't been able to do that. Bryce Young benched. Will Levis
Should be benched.
Yes, should be benched.
Mac Jones, is he a backup somewhere? Is he like a third?
Yeah, he's a backup somewhere. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
Is he a
so-
backup to T-Law?
Wait, isn't he a backup to
Trevor Lawrence, right?
Yeah, he's a backup. He's a backup to
Okay,
T-Law.
okay.
maybe I should have put Trevor Lawrence in there instead of Mac Jones. You can feel free to swap
I
that
would
name.
still pick Bo Nix.
You would pick
Okay.
if you had to choose there. Okay, go ahead, keep going.
Crow Dog.
Oh, you know who I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna pick Deshaun. I mean, I've seen him be elite. I know he still has that athleticism. He can still throw the ball. He's standing in there taking hits. He's taking big hits.
He does get clobbered.
If he was just all about his money, he would lay down and just go to the side. But I think he still wants to be in that elite tier of quarterbacks. And I know it doesn't look like it's going to happen, but I still believe in him. And I just you got to get the team around him going in the right direction too. It's not all just him, but it's easy to make the quarterback the scapegoat because he makes all the money. Every quarterback makes that much money now. They basically do. I know the guarantee, which the NFL Players Union has been doing a disservice to their players for many years for not having the NFL players' contracts guaranteed. How is the other leagues guaranteed? But that's another story. But I'm sticking with Deshaun, and I'll pass.
All right, Ethan. I guess that's up to you now.
All right. Well, as in that list that you gave me, and actually just a comment here from Mike from the UK, Bryce Young or Bo Nix. Young got thrown into a bad situation. Surely he can't be worse. I would probably at this juncture, and this is just based upon what we've seen so far, that would be the reason I would not choose Watson. I know he has potential there. He has had a high ceiling, but I think I would look at. I don't like what Will Levis has done. He stinks. He's too busy eating mayonnaise, okay, and making cologne like mayonnaise. And Bryce Young, I think, is small. And I know the situation in Carolina is not great, but Andy Dalton has made it look better. So I would probably go Bo Nix. He seems to be running, doing what is being asked of him. But I don't know that his ceiling is that high in the end. But you never know. I mean, he's doing what Sean Payton is asking him to do. And so I think with that in mind, okay, that's where I would go. I mean, Mike, who would you take?
Well, now that you threw Trevor Lawrence in there instead
No. We can't have him. No. Yeah, go ahead. Whatever. Yeah.
So I think Trevor Lawrence would be interesting, and that's probably the one I would pick. But if I went with my original list, I would go with Bryce Young as well, because I think he's still. I mean, he reminds me of a lot of the quarterbacks the Browns had in the 2000s, who were probably pretty good, and we just shoot them up and spit them out. All of them. Yeah. If we could get a Bryce Young before he is completely damaged, I think maybe we could salvage him. So that's who I'd go with.
So you want a reclamation project? Nice. I like it. I like it. No, I hear you. And to everybody out there, I think we're all on the same page. As I said earlier, we want the Browns to win. Whoever the quarterback is, just win. And there's a lot of things that are broken right now. And I hope that, and I guess Crow Dog, Mike, you guys both have a little bit of hope still. I have tainted my son, and apparently, and we have no hope here. But you know who we do have hope for? Let's switch it up a little bit here. It was a rough one today. How about some Gardos all the time, except over the last 2 games when they haven't been able to score a run, and now we're facing elimination tomorrow. Mike?
Okay. All right. I am still gonna be the optimist here.
All right. I need that.
So I'm gonna throw this out there that we learned during the broadcast. They set the record for longest innings, consecutive innings without scoring a run. It's now at 20 since they've been shut out 2 games in a row and then didn't score from the 6th inning on, I think, in game 1. But all right, hear me out. So game 2, I don't think we were expecting to win that game anyway. Skubal was pitching. We could have stolen that one. It didn't turn out that way for us.
Right.
All right, so we were 1-1. We come to Detroit. They burned a lot of bullpen arms, including their new starter and their previous starter before they got this new starter. So since we're playing back-to-back games, they're not going to be available tomorrow. They're most likely going to go with a bullpen game. If not, they'll go with some second or third tier pitcher because they don't really have anybody off of Skubal. And we've got Bybee pitching again, who pitched well in game 1. So I think we can easily take tomorrow. Well, I'm not going to say easily. I think we have a chance to take tomorrow, which leaves us with game 5 in Skubal. Okay, and that's in Cleveland. Skubal is going to make some mistakes. He has to. I mean, just like Clase made a mistake. We haven't seen him make that kind of mistake all year, and he made one.
Right, exactly.
Skubal's been so hot for so long, the law of average is going to catch up, and I think we can take game 5. We've had so many heartbreaks where we've been up like 2-0 in the series, and then we blow the last 3 games. It's time for us to flip the switch and cause some heartbreak of our own. So I have faith, and I'm going to be an optimist, and I think it's okay that we lost today. I think we are still set up.
Yeah, I mean, Jacob, I know you're not the biggest Gardos fan. I haven't converted you yet. We did have a good time at the game, Got some good hot dogs there. Went to the kosher ones, didn't get the lips and buttholes. We got ones there. But look, since you're not watching the series, do you think the Guardians can do it?
Of course. This is the only thing I have right now.
Oh, man, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Bro Dog, what do you think that the Guardians have an opportunity? They've certainly exceeded all of our expectations this year. Seeing what we've seen, you talked about the bats and so on and so forth, and seemingly the lack of hitting there in the lineup. But do you feel like they can overcome and at least force a game 5?
Yes, I can't look forward past game 5. Today a lot of people are on vote, first time manager for, he was being aggressive. I think he wanted to go out there and try to knock the bullpen pitchers out early and try to, put his foot on their throat and put them down. That's what he wanted to do. But it turned his aggressiveness kind of turned around on him. But I'm not going to fault him for trying to, be aggressive and go try to go win, go do it. That's what he's paid to do, is go win. But we got to get them bats going. I thought if Quan would get going, that we would have a great chance because he'd get on for the big guys.
He did today. He went 3 for 4. He got half of our hits. He got 3 of the 6 hits.
We actually out-hit the Tigers today.
Yeah.
How many times? Like the first 3 innings, they had like 2 on, 2 times they let early. So they were hitting, and they just couldn't get them in. It was the big time hits.
Yeah, it just seemed like he went uber aggressive today. It didn't help. You take out, so you started Manzardo at DH. You pulled him after the first time around the order and put in Fry, and then Fry was 0 for 3 with runners in scoring positions. Each time he came up, he had a chance to cash in, and he just did not. Down the lineup, Will Brennan didn't even get the bat. You put in Big Christmas. It just didn't work out. But I got to say, for the love of God, we have got to get rid of umpires calling the balls and strikes. How in the world can you be a good hitter if you don't know what the strike zone is going to be from an at-bat, one at-bat to the next? It's asinine what they're doing. So I'm hoping for the best as we at Crow Dog, as you I know how much you love, Aaron Goldhammer, but you prepare for the worst, hope for the best or something. Mike and Jacob, it is, what Saturday is? Saturday is Yom Kippur. It's a day of atonement. The Guardians owe us. They need to atone for all their sins. Let's start tomorrow, and then they can atone for their sins. We're going to blow the shofar. We're going to break the fast, and we're going to get a win. All right? That's what I'm talking about.
Can I throw this out there too?
Yes,
what do you think that Lindor sent the Mets to the NLCS by hitting a grand slam today? I know, right? That's how I feel, Crow Dog. Just a big sigh.
It was a tough move. We came out of that okay with Jimenez. I like Himmy, and I feel like Lindor kind of he held his nose up at us because the Dolans, for whatever reason, weren't going to pay him what he felt he was deserved. And the whole thing, as Mike, you and I talked about, the whole thing with the salary in baseball is out of control. It's out of control. It's not right. So my goal, or what I want to see, my rooting interest after the Guardians, is that no large market team wins. I would love nothing better than to see both New York teams gone. I would love to see the Dodgers gonzo. And then after that, I guess the Padres, they've had their problems. So if they were to win, good for them. But we'll be rooting for the Guardians, over at the corner of Carnegie and Ontario. And hopefully by next season, I might be able to watch them for a reasonable price, since apparently that whole thing with Bally's, I don't know. But can you believe? All right, let me just go on another a small question here. But has anybody seen online? And Mike, you're not on the social media so much, but Crow Dog, do you see the people who complain about Matt Underwood, Arch, and Dre?
I do, and I don't get it because they're it's a privilege to get to hear them call a game. It really is. And Andre's grown on me. I ain't always been the biggest Andre Knott fan, but I seen him at a game. I was at a game sitting behind the dugouts, and he's a nice guy. He's giving all the fans balls. All the kids come and ask, and so. But no, that's a great. But
Even
the thing is, I
mustard.
haven't got to watch much of the games because I don't got Bally. I got YouTube TV, so it was very, very. I had to listen to him on the radio a lot.
Yeah, I gotcha. So we'll see about that. Well, all right. So good luck to the Guardians. We'll get into some Cavs here in the next few weeks as they get ready to open the season. They had their preseason opener last night, but we're kind of moving toward the end of the program here. And Mike, you and I talked a little bit about this here, and I want to give our on second thought moment. On second thought, what do you think, Mike?
On second thought, I think the Browns should base how much money they ask for the taxpayers on their winning percentage this season. So, for example, if they have a 250 winning percentage, then the taxpayers of Cleveland/Cuyahoga County should only have to pitch in 25% to build their new stadium. Maybe that'll give them some motivation to win.
Hey, Haslam.
No, I don't want the wins. I want the losses. I want the losses for the draft picks.
No.
And then if we get the losses, then it'll be cheaper for the taxpayers. So that's double win for you then, Jacob.
Mike, that's a PR move from Kent State right there. Even though you weren't a PR major, that's what it is. Well, on second thought, is it possible that it's really true that money can't buy happiness and mo money, mo problems? Because the Haslams kind of try to throw money at the Browns quarterback conundrum, and right now it hasn't worked out to this point. So maybe it is, in fact, that mo money, mo problems actually is true. I always thought it wasn't. Don't kill my dreams. I want to have mo money. I don't want mo problems. Can I have mo problems? I don't know. I don't. Oh, Crow Dog, I got to ask you, because you are, in fact, you do roofing. Is it roofing? Are you a roofer or a roofer?
I'm a roofer.
You're a roofer.
Okay. Roofer.
All right. So Rizzo would be right. Rizzo's correct. You are a roofer. All right. And with that, let's talk here real quick about what has us going nuclear. Mike, why don't you tell us what has you going nuclear this week?
All right. Since we went to the Commanders game at New Northwest Field, what has me going nuclear? And why the hell did Dan Snyder build the stadium a mile away from the metro station, where you have, 10,000 people walking to the stadium on just through a neighborhood on a normal sized sidewalk? There's not even like an extended pedestrian walkway to go through. It's absolutely ridiculous. Cars are whizzing by, you're crossing streets, and then you get in the stadium and you get jammed because I don't think the concourses were built to hold all the people that are sitting there anyways. So I'm glad he sold the team, because that is not a great experience to go out there.
No, that was not good. Crow Dog, does anything got you going nuclear?
Yeah, the roster of the Cleveland Browns. I am starting to think if it keeps this way, they might need to clean out the front office and start putting football people back in charge, because it seems like they're kind of worried about all the wrong things over winning. Not that it's the wrong things, but it's like they're worried about other things more so than winning.
They're not
So
identifying talent. Is that kind of where you're?
about being a little bit more progressive than winning. That's where I think. But I'm not going to get deep into that because we don't need to get into politics. So, and another thing, I will say, I want the Browns to build that stadium down in Brook Park, because like that probably walk in Washington, that walk to the Muni lot after a Browns loss, oh, that is one long ass miserable time.
Yeah, that was.
Fair point.
I'll tell you what, Mike. That was. If you were claustrophobic, that was a scary walk in the concourse.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was ridiculous.
It was a semi safety hazard, I would say too, when you have small kids with you.
Exactly. I think Jacob, I had you grab onto my shirt, right?
Yeah. Got to the back of your collar.
Yeah, and that worked. That it's like you can always hang on my coattails. It's all good. I'm here for you, brother. Well, folks, what has me going nuclear also relates to our experience at the game. As I said, I'm wearing this hat for the 2016 championship, the one and only championship in major sports that we've seen from our Cleveland franchises. So I try to stay humble, and I don't want to taunt other fan bases. It's just, I'll laugh at other people kind of going back and forth, but I don't want to be involved with that. I just don't think it's a good idea. So at the game, we had this loudmouth chucklehead in front of us who was a Browns fan. And he kept saying within about the first drive, Jaden Daniels had never seen a defense like the Browns. So, of course, the gentleman behind me then starts chirping back at him. And he's yelling at him in my ear. So, listen, guys, I know you're having good fun, but could you do it next to each other? Could you not let other people be in the way of your ridiculosity? And then the icing on the cake, you knew this guy was a goofball. He didn't come back after halftime. The guy in front of us, he did not come back after halftime, which I'm glad. I am definitely glad. It was good fun, but I didn't need to be in the middle of it. And I think that fans need to chill out. I'm glad there were no fights, because we've seen videos of that, and that's out of bounds. That's absolutely out of bounds. But folks, you go to a game, you're wherever you are. Can you have a little humility? Can you treat other people nicely and not, try and crap on them when they're already down or whatever it is? Just be good to each other. You can have a good time. Be like, we got you or something like that. But that's it. I hate the back and forth. So that has me going nuclear, and thankfully I can, in fact, hear a few things. And I didn't want to forget this just because we are so bad. And Mike, you put in the work here, so I don't want to miss this. Let's quickly go, if we can, to just our picks here for Week 6, guys. Let's get that over here, and I'll share that, and we will go and see how we did, guys. All right, so the Week 5 review. Let's take a look at this here. Looks like in the first 4 there, I was off to a good start, guys. This is good. Jacob, Mike, you guys, bet on Baker, and you were wrong. So I'm sorry, you lose. Right there,
Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, not the first time we bet on Baker and lost.
Yeah, exactly. No. All right, in the next set of games here, yeah.
Jacob 0 for 4.
I had a bad time.
You did not do so well there. That was no good. I was I'm a goofball. I did in fact pick Washington because of my competitive spirit, not my heart. Then in the last 4 there, how did we do? I did not do so well. Mike, Jacob, you guys did a little bit better. How do we do for the week, guys? Oh, this is the last 2. Gosh, that Steelers game with the delay was ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Play in the rain. Come on.
Yeah. Let's go. A little lightning never hurt anybody. A little electric shock there. Let's see how we did our record. So this week, Mike, you and I went 9-5. Jacob 7-7. We don't have the overall totals, but believe me, we'll be there. Jacob, you might still hold a slight lead on us. We'll have to get that tallied up.
Yeah.
Let's go here real quick to this week's games. So in the early slate here, got San Francisco, Seattle, Jacksonville, Chicago, Arizona, Green Bay, Indianapolis, and Tennessee. And all of us ended up with the same picks. Crow Dog, what do you think? Think we made wise picks here?
They look really good to me.
All right, fantastic.
Mike picked the Seahawks.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right. Oh, so
yeah, they're at home, and the way San Francisco lost to Arizona, I've got no confidence.
I hear you.
Yeah, I think I would have refunked that pick. I would have gone back in time. I probably would have maybe picked Seahawks.
No.
But the Seahawks did lose.
You lose.
I can't. I know I can't change it now. I'm just saying.
You stink. You stink. Don't lie. Don't lie, my friend. This is ridiculous. I am sick of these excuses here.
Look, I'm not saying I want to change my pick. I'm just saying if I could look back on it, then I would change.
Hindsight, eh?
In hindsight.
Yes. Okay.
But I mean, the Seahawks still have been on a losing streak, so
we'll see how they do it, Gino. All right. So the next slate, we've got Texans, Patriots, Saints, Buccaneers, Eagles, Browns, the Ravens, and the Commanders. Let's see what we come up with here. All right. All of us are going Texans, Buccaneers, Eagles. I went Ravens. I want the Commanders, but I went Ravens. I don't know. I don't
know. The Commanders look good. I don't know. Seeing them in person, they look really good.
I would not be surprised if they win. They look really good.
The Ravens got lucky against the Bengals. I think they should have. I think after the Lamar fumble, they played good in the regulation, but after the Lamar fumble, the game should have been over. McPherson should have hit the field goal, but the rookie holder messes up.
Zach Taylor, he's got his seat got to start getting warm at some point.
Yeah, I agree with that as well.
All right, let's go to the next set of games here. We got out on the West Coast. We got the Chargers, Broncos, Raiders, Steelers, Cowboys, Lions. You know, hey, why don't they play on Thanksgiving? Then we could take that matchup. And anyway, Falcons and Panthers. And let's see. Oh, we've got some mismatches here. We all went Lions and Falcons. I went with the Steelers.
Steelers.
I don't want to win. I just have no faith in the Raiders.
They beat both the AFC North opponents they played, Baltimore and the Browns. So maybe they have some magic against the AFC North.
You're fired.
Yeah, that's what I say to you. Now, I'm gonna. All right. I think that it would be great if the Steelers lost. I want them to lose. Please lose. Please lose. Okay, and then the Chargers and the Broncos. Jacob, you went with the Broncos, and I don't fault you for that. But
Bo Picks.
Bo Picks or Bo Nix?
Bo Nix, not Bo Picks, but
I think Jim Harbaugh.
Idiot Harbaugh
picks his nose.
Yeah, idiot Harbaugh.
Stupid khakis.
Yeah, I'd rather take Bo Picks over idiot Harbaugh.
Cheater.
Yeah,
Cheater
Harbaugh. That as well. That as well. All right, let's take a look here in the last couple of games here. All right, we are a clean sweep here on the bungholes and the Bills. The Jets are a disaster. Robert Saleh fired.
Now the new head coach is Aaron Rodgers.
Yes, it is.
You stink.
Yes, and that is where I will leave that one here. So, guys, again, Crow Dog, thank you so much for being on. Appreciate you being with us. Always great to have a discussion. I think, again, we might not all see things the same way. We all want the Browns to win at the end of the day. And that's where Browns fans need to find the common ground and need to come together. It doesn't matter how we get there. We just need to get there. That's all I got. So thank you again for being on.
I thank you, Jacob, Mike, Ethan, for having me. I had a blast, and just say a prayer for all the people going through the hurricane down south.
Absolutely. We'll be keeping an eye on that. Jacob, thank you as always for being on. Now it's way past your. No, it's not past your bedtime. Go have a drink, a smoke. I mean, no, I don't know what it is. No, but anyway, Pro Dog, thank you for being on. Jacob, thank you for being on. Mike, got a big weekend planned?
Lots of kids sports.
Oh no, it better not be during the Guardians game. I know I'm going to have to take my phone with me to make. If they get it to game 5, I got to look and see what time first pitch is. That could be a problem.
Same. Yep. Exactly. So we'll tackle that problem when we get there.
Exactly. So, Crow Dog, thanks for being on. Jacob, thanks for joining us again. And the championship belt, baby. Yeah.
One day.
There we go.
There we go. All right. And for Mike Rasinski, I am Ethan Greenberg, and you